financial things that you're going to do for me.
Oh, that's that lawyer talking to you.
No. Wait, let me.
No, ma'am. Attorney Moore. Because see, let me tell you why. I ain't trying to interrupt you. Let me tell you why that's that lawyer talking to you. You all about the contract. As long as we are clear on the terms, we understand what's going on, then it cannot be that. But see, that's that lawyer. And I agree with you. That is true. I'm not going to say that you're wrong now. But I'm saying you're speaking from that lawyer because here's some dudes that believe the stripper love him. He goes in there and believes that stripper loves him and that she's been waiting for him every night to come in there with that money and that nobody else gets the same thing he gets.
Well, that's true. But again, I think when you, again, not to sound lawyer-like, but realistically, the issue is always this person is using me for a place to stay. And when that is over, when I, when I rise up or whatever the term is or the situation that happens, now he's gone, he's bounced to the next person. What I'm saying in a typical gold digger relationship, it's clear, right? Mm-hmm. It's clear that I want your money. And if you can't do that for me, I can't be with you.
Gotcha.
Right. And so there, again, but I'm just a firm believer that you got to put cards on the table. What do you want? And what are your expectations? And whatever you want, whatever your expectations are, you need to put that out up front. And then it's up to the other person whether or not they're going to agree to that. Because once you agree to this relationship, you must be on mute. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yep, I can hear you now. So you must agree once you agree to the terms. I know that's very lawyer-like, and maybe
but you've been consistent about that though. That's the one.
I mean, I'm like that no matter what we talk about.
Absolutely, you are consistent about that on every level. So you have not deviated. The terms need to be clear. I agree with you on that, and it does save a lot of time.
When you date a person and they start telling you, and this happens, they talk about their previous relationships. Mm-hmm. If you knew that he was just living with Tasha and now he living with you, or before Tasha, he was living with Beverly, and before Beverly, he was living with Sheila, and he moved out of all of those ladies' houses, and now y'all talking about moving in together because he done gave you this side story about how, I was there and, I was paying bills and she did this and I'm in between places. See, my question going to be, where your mama at? I just want to know, or I'm going to say, oh, wow, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
See, because once, put it on them. And if they start saying how, can I crash on your couch? You can say no. One thing about no is that no is an absolute, right? Ain't nothing else after no. There's nothing else to do. But when you say yes, that comes to the obligations later down the road. Think about it. Can I stay with you? No. That's it. End, finite, bam, you're done. But if I say yes, now we got to talk about, when you moving in, how long you need to see. Now you got some more stuff to talk about.
That's true.
So it's a difference between I'm sleeping in my car tonight. Can I crash on your on your house, on your couch tonight? Then I have nowhere to go. Can I move in?
Absolutely.
That need to be a no. If you know you ain't ready for a HoboSexual setup because you don't know what the situation is. So if this person doesn't have a job and all of those things, you have to be prepared to continue this for a while. One other thing I really want, and I know I talk about a lot of legal stuff, but y'all just need to know this. When you let someone move into your home, whether it's a place that you're renting, let's start here. You own a home and you allow someone to move in. So you're in this HoboSexual relationship, situationship, whatever you call it. Once you let them live there for a certain amount of time, and it's different in different states, don't you let them get any mail at your house.
Oh, Lord.
Because then that creates a legal obligation and a residence for them. And guess what? Now you got to evict them if they push it.
And a HoboSexual knows this.
And a HoboSexual knows this. So
right.
You have to think about all of those things, which means that if you're forced to have to evict them, you got to wait for the eviction process. A lot of states will not let you do what's called self-help, meaning lock the door, change the locks, throw their stuff outside. They won't let you do that.
That's right.
Right? And so you got to think about this. It doesn't matter if it's a homosexual or your cousin, right? These are all the same. So you got to think about there's everything we talk about. Yes, there's a relationship implication, but there's also a legal implication to this. You need to think about that before you go and start doing that.
Let me read this. This is very interesting right here. The LA Times released a podcast called Dirty John, which follows the story of Deborah Newell, a successful interior designer who calls for John Meehan, the ultimate homosexual, a handsome man who seems to check all the boxes, attentive, available, and successful, only to have him slither his way into her heart and home with deadly results. I remember watching Dirty John's show. That series was so good, and it was real. And she was super, super successful. And it's a true story too. She was super successful, and he charmed his way into her heart, got all her money, started taking control of the house and everything. Now, it goes on to say, now, if you're starting to feel uneasy and that some of the above mentioned information is hitting close to home, here are 7 signs that your bae is actually a homosexual, using you for living space. Are we ready, Tonya? Ready?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's what we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
And I'm saying, and I think that when we look at this homosexual relationship, now, of course, you and I both got a very hearty laugh out of this whole term and terminology, but from a relationship standpoint, it can be devastating for the person that feels victimized.
Absolutely.
It really can.
And it can cost you financially and ruin you.
Absolutely. Because you're bringing this person in, they're in your home, they have access to your personal papers while you at work, right? Or they're in your car,
right?
While you at work. You know, you got to think about that. You're getting mail there. That could be information about credit card statements. Or they're up at night, rifling through or rambling through your purse, and your Social Security card is in there. Like, you got to really think about this stuff.
Absolutely.
Right? You have to really, really think about this stuff. Or they taking pictures of your debit card, and they charging stuff online while you gone, but the debit card in your purse. Like, there are lots of, and again, we're talking about the horror stories because that's what matters. The kumbaya doesn't matter. It's good. This is the agreement that you have, but you also need to think about the precautions. But Mario, in the time that we have left, I gotta pitch it to you because I know that you counsel a lot of people with this stuff. But I want you to talk a little bit about the psychology from the victim standpoint. Like, what do you see most often as the type of people that end up on the bad end, you know, in terms of having somebody come and freeload off of them? What type of person do you normally see that this happens to?
Well, it's the person who has normally a very good heart. They're generous in nature. They are looking for love. They desire love. They desire companionship. And somehow or another, they feel that they have to accommodate a person, no matter how they are, just to get that companionship. They're normally been, the female is normally a person who has been hurt several times, suffers from the wounds of rejection. And so they've gotten to a place where they feel like this is what I got to do to have the companionship. Now, this is one of the things in the article that I want to say, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. One of the signs that you may be headed that way is your relationship moves at a warp speed. You've gone out for coffee twice and maybe dinner once, but this person is already pushing for more. Maybe they want to spend the night, become official right away, and get serious way before you both have gotten a chance to really get to know each other. It could be a magic fit or something else. So stopping to take a minute and figure out shouldn't bother you or your new boo. Now, that's the thing that I see is that desperation. This person that I've seen before and I talk to a lot, or the people that I talk to, are normally so desperate for a relationship. And they normally all have the same common thread, a lot of rejection. A lot of rejection. So when they start moving, that guy starts moving really, really, really fast, then she's like, oh, wow, it takes her by storm because there's some vulnerability. The rejection has created a greater level of vulnerability. And so she's a little open. She's a little receptive, even though something tells her, yo, slow down, slow down, slow down. It's too much. But remember now, the homosexual is charming as all get out. His charisma and his game is on point. You see, and so I see that person that has had a series of rejection. They now are second guessing themselves. They're wondering if something is wrong with them. They're looking at everyone else, even those females that they are friends with that may be doing the same thing. You talked about earlier, seeing that lifestyle and seeing it made normal. And so maybe their friends are kind of doing that and it's working for them, or at least the appearance of it. So now they say, I'll try it. I'll give it a try. And I'm going to tell you what I've noticed, Tanya, that's more than anything. It takes only one time to do it. And they seem addicted to it after that. Even though they've experienced it the first time, they were left devastated, financially devastated, they are still open to have it again. And I wonder often, how does that happen? Like, you know now what you're looking at. I'm thinking you have a record now. You've seen the system. You've been victimized. You know it. But I promise you, I see them become the serial dater for the homosexual. And that's so devastating to me. So I spend a lot of time trying to now reprogram them a little bit in their thinking to be able to recognize it on the front end and kind of get them to recognize this is not the way you should be living, because you don't even have no more money left for the homosexual. You need to be one now. You know what I mean? Because you broke. You about to become a homosexual.
Gone. They're gone because the things that they enjoyed about it, whether again, because if the money is gone, that food, water, shelter
is gone.
Those things are in jeopardy. So they got to figure out, okay, what's the next step? Or they know, look, the gig is up. You know, she on to me, so I'm gonna have to start. So then they on Facebook in somebody's DM, or they on Instagram, you know, trying to ease up the other person. So
one more thing.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. One more thing that I wanted, that I definitely in the time we have, I wanted to say this too. One of the things they point out in here is that they have a key, a drawer, and start leaving personal items around your home. But you've never invited them to live with you. Do you know, Tanya, that one of the things that I've seen happen is that there was never an agreement. You talked about it a few minutes ago about let's talk about it. When you say if they ask, say no. But if you say yes, we have to now start negotiating terms. All right. But here's the thing. Most of the people that I have ever dealt with in a coaching session or on this wise, even in the pastorate, there was never an agreement. They just somehow ended there. Let me tell you what the old people used to say. All right, if somebody come and y'all over there sleeping together and they spend the night, don't let them leave no shoes under your bed. Why? Because that means they're going to be moving in. Do you know that's true? I don't know what kind, it may seem like a little myth or whatever, but if they leave some shoes underneath the bed, them old people say they're going to be moving in. But what happened, it's amazing that there was never a solid conversation. It just somehow evolved into them being there. And before you know it, you're giving them a key. They got some drawers now. You're moving some space in the closet. And nobody ever talked about it. Nobody ever talked about it. So when you start having financial problems, because now everything has increased because there's another body there, and you start getting a little budget in place and they can't get everything that they used to have, like you said, they will move out. They're going to move on. And normally they're already working on that and keep a reservoir of people that are waiting for them to come over there and do that.
Awesome. So you guys heard it. Listen, he's the master at this. And I just want to let you guys know that this is really in my opinion, this is a dangerous phenomenon, right? Because you're really talking about people that their whole objective is to infiltrate, but really just to get their needs met. So I would say anybody in this situation that doesn't want to be, because I have to put that out there. Some people want to be, and that's fine. But if you're in this situation and you don't want to be, and you don't have a exit plan, you don't know what to do, certainly feel free to reach out. You guys can contact us. Make sure that you go to the Real Perspectives TV show Facebook page, like the page. You can always inbox me. You can always inbox Mario.